classroom community. All right. Okay. All right. So, do you have a coin? Awesome. Okay, let's flip a coin. We're having Agamemnon versus Patroclus. So let's have Agamemnon decide. What do you think? Heads or tails? Heads. that kind of worked, right? I swear I didn't cheat at least. You guys want to go second? Okay, so Patroclus, you guys are going first. Everybody, the proposition team is Patroclus.
All right, am I good to start now then?
No, I need to set the timer. So we got 5 minutes opening statement. Ready, go.
All right, so today I'm going to tell you about why Patroclus is more honorable than Agamemnon. Because first off, when he went in to fight, he wore Achilles' armor, which showed like a great sign to inspire the army and show that, hey, Achilles isn't the only one here who can fight. Everyone can fight like Achilles did. And he sacrificed himself for the Achaean army. And at that point, they were losing the battle quite tremendously, thanks to Agamemnon's poor decisions in leading the army. And thanks to Patroclus's amazing sacrifice, he managed to save the battle and led into them winning. And Agamemnon, he took all of Achilles' treasures that Achilles had won, although Achilles deserved them. And Patroclus never took other things from people. When he took Achilles' armor, it's because Achilles offered it to him, and he never took other things from other people. And when you read the book and analyze the text, you see that Briseis actually did love Patroclus more than Agamemnon because she thought Patroclus was more kind and friendly and selfless. And it just shows that Patroclus, even though Agamemnon was honored by many, it was because he had so much power that people feared not honoring him. Whereas Patroclus was just a simple army man, but he was honored even more than other people, even though he had barely any power, which just shows that he must have been more honorable because more people loved him.
All right. Awesome. All right, opposition. Let's get up there. This is Agamemnon, everyone.
Nice. Let's go. I'll try.
Okay, ready? Go.
Okay, in line 154 to 155, it states, God like Achilles trying to cheat me. Oh no, you won't get past me. Showing that even though he was just a human, he could still outwit somebody who is half God, somebody who has the blood of a god in him.
True heroes, they need strength. Not just strength to defeat your enemies, but strength to stand up for what's right. Agamemnon is a man of strength in every sense of the word. He has the mental strength to lead great armies against the Trojans. He has the emotional strength to deal with losses in his army, to deal with the loss of Briseis and his wife getting stolen, and still steal on and continue fighting, because that's what he needs to do. And he has the physical strength. The armies of Greece, all of the armies of Greece are on his side. He leads them. If you disrespect Agamemnon, you disrespect Greece. Just ask Paris, he would know. And Agamemnon was willing to defend the honor of Greece by going and fighting for it, leaving his home to go hundreds of miles away and fight this war for his honor. Patroclus only has the strength of one man, a dead man at that. He couldn't stand up for what was right. He tried, and he failed. He died trying to prove his worth, but he failed at doing that. His sacrifice meant nothing to the Trojans or the Achaeans. The Achaeans is just another soldier lost, and the Trojans is just another soldier killed. He only has the might of one man. But Agamemnon, he has the strength of thousands.
All right. Awesome. You guys have 1 minute to prepare your rebuttal.
Yeah,
Don't
I
worry.
like down and so okay. So
Us judges are hanging tight, deliberating, thinking if our scores were correct. Do you think you're biased towards the people or biased towards the character? Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I don't feel like we have biases against our classmates. I think our biases are like, I don't want to believe that that person is here, right? Yeah, but we're trying to figure out that there's using the arguments well to try to prove the hero, even if we initially go into it thinking it's but using the argument. Right, 5 seconds. 2 seconds.
All right.
All right, you ready? Let's get up there. Hey everyone, this is under speaker 2 column. Okay, Patroclus, you got a minute. Ready? Go.
So although you say Agamemnon is strong, he relies on the strength of others. He has an army of thousands that he relies on. And yes, that army is very powerful, but him himself is weak. He's like an egg. He's hard, but once he cracks, he's useless and he's thrown away. He runs away, and he wants to leave when Zeus causes a storm. He says, we need to go home. And due to his poor decisions, they're burning the ships, and he lost lives of thousands of men. And thanks to Patroclus going in, yes, he did die trying. And yes, he didn't win the war himself, but his death inspired so many because of his honor that they were able to push through and win the war. Agamemnon, he does not really fight for what's right. He really only fights when either his life is at risk or for greed. And he doesn't even fight that much. He's, like I said, an egg. He's hard on the outside, once cracked, weak on the inside.
Awesome. All right. All right. Yep. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
So you said that he's honorable because he fought in Achilles' armor. It's only because Achilles refused to fight in his own armor. It was his only option to wear to battle.
You want to talk about eggs cracking? You're the ones defending the only main character who has died. Achilles, Agamemnon, has yet to crack, showing that he can withstand the pressure. Also, Patroclus, he just leeches off the fame and success of Achilles. He has no accomplishments of his own. He's riding off the coattails of his friend. Achilles is the one who's done all the accomplishments. Patroclus just takes from them and says, look, I'm with him. That's not true strength. That's just leeching off the successes of others. Patroclus should try winning his own battle for once.
All right. Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to see if there's something else you want to add to that rebuttal. We got 1 more minute. All right, Patroclus, 1 minute. Okay, go.
All right, so maybe Patroclus did wear Achilles' armor because Achilles didn't fight, but I don't really care because I'm fighting for Patroclus, not Achilles. So I don't even care if Achilles didn't want to fight because it's Patroclus who wants to fight. And even though Patroclus is dead, he got more book time than Agamemnon. So I think that just kind of goes to show that he has more honor and stuff because he's mentioned way more in the book than Agamemnon. Also, Patroclus may have been friends with Achilles, but he's fighting desperately the whole time for his own honor, and he doesn't want to go off Achilles' armor. He just kind of ends up doing it because he's friends with him. And yeah.
All right. Okay, here we go. Agamemnon. Go.
Okay, you spoke about book time, but he only got a lot of book time because he was friends with Achilles, and Achilles was sad. So all he wanted to do was talk about his dead friend. I mean, no hate on Achilles, but he only got a lot of book time because he was talked about a lot because homeboy was mourning. He was just so sad.
The greatest thing Patroclus has ever accomplished is dying. That is the only thing that turned the war was his death, not his great acts in life. He failed, and that is what inspired the people. Him going out there didn't inspire anyone. In fact, most people thought Achilles was fighting. He was pretending to be someone greater than he was, but he wasn't. And book time has nothing to do with it. After all, Homer wrote this, and we know that even though it was like an epic battle, he focused more on emotions. He was focused less on the glories of Agamemnon and more so on the heartbreak of Achilles. Like Patroclus caused a lot of heartbreak for Achilles.
All right. Second. All right. You've got 2 minutes to prepare your closing remarks. This is where you gotta flinch it, right?
Okay, so
All right. Let's do this. So you have 3 minutes tops for your closing statements. Let's hear from Patroclus.
Okay, so in conclusion, Patroclus' sacrifice led to the winning of the war, is why he should be the hero of the book. And also, Patroclus only got more book time because, yeah, Achilles was sad. And yeah, Achilles' sadness shows how much he cared for Patroclus and how much of a good time Patroclus was. And also, again, we're not really talking about Achilles. And also, yeah, Patroclus' only accomplishment was dying. You're right about that. But at least he accomplished something because Achilles killed Hector, which led to the winning of the war. So although, yeah, he only died and that's all he did, at least he did something significant in terms of the book. Also, Patroclus was well respected by all, and he won the war thanks to his sacrifice that inspired Achilles.
Right. All right, last bit. Here's Agamemnon's closing statement. There you go.
okay, Agamemnon stood up for himself and made his opinions and what he believed in like true to everyone. Like he would show what he was thinking in how he was leading the people, and Patroclus was just a follower. He just followed the rules, and he got pushed around by Achilles into doing whatever Achilles wanted.
Patroclus was a follower, while Achilles, Agamemnon, was a leader. Patroclus only fought because Achilles said, hey, let's go fight. And Patroclus was like, I'll do whatever you want. Agamemnon, he fights for the honor and justice of his men and for Greece. He fights with a purpose. Patroclus doesn't. That's the main difference between the two. And which is more heroic? Fighting for justice and honor, or fighting because your friend told you so?
He pretty much just fought because he was a simp for Achilles. Let's be honest, he was. Okay, all he wanted was his attention. He loved him. They were besties. That's it.
we gotta add up our scores. Okay, when you're done adding stuff up, raise your pink sheet up and see our or I guess it's white now too. Pink or white. Thank you. Oh, and then, okay, so Keisha and Nat, just put your scores, add up all your scores and put them into the chat box. So you can see. No, you can just toss that now that you're done with that. Hey. Okay, and then, do we want to go back to our regular seats now? Let's just stay where we are. This will be better for contact tracing. I can just do it based on this. Okay. All right, so now everyone in both groups, I'm going to add these up in a second here, but I'm going to get you started on the next thing. So no matter, what your part in the debate was, you guys are finding a partner. Let me see if we're an even number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So I think we are an even group. So everyone will get one partner. I'm going to give you this is for peer reviews of your argument essays. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to find your partner. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to use these to figure out who the winner is. So you two are partners, Keisha and Nat. And you guys are going to email each other your argument papers. Thank you. Or you can just share, if you did it in a Google Doc, just share it with the person so that you can do this activity with each other. And I'm going to send you the peer review form here in a second. Let's see. For some reason I can never find this thing. Actually, maybe I made. Okay, give me a second. I got to get these guys set up with this, and then I will get back to you and I will give you the form. For now, share the document with each other. So you're sharing your argument essay, the most recent one, with each other. Okay, raise your hand if you don't have a partner yet. Oh, you did so well. Awesome. So I'm going to give everyone a peer review form. Okay, let's talk about if you have not done the essay. I know that's none of you, but just in case you have nothing written, if you have something written, even if it is just a paragraph, then you can complete this activity. But yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't mean that you had to call yourself out, but if you have nothing written, you still need to do a peer review of your partner's work. And your partner, who's your partner? You're going to do a peer review of your own work then too, because you don't have figures to review. And that's true for anyone that didn't do it, because you're not the only one. Anyone who didn't do it, you are going to have to, the person who didn't do the assignment still needs to do a peer review of someone else's work. But the person who is paired with that person, so that if you don't have an actual essay to review, you're going to review your own, so that you're being self-reflective. Okay, there's a question. Yes. Oh, sorry. This way, even if you didn't do the argument essay, you're still going to get points for doing a peer review, so it won't be like you guys are going to get the worst. I mean, you're not going to miss out on every point from today. That's kind of what I mean by that. All right, so the first part, you guys are going to need Chromebooks for this activity, so you can read each other's essays. So if you're in the front row, come grab Chromebooks for everyone in your room. I'm going to explain it here in a second. All right, now share your essay with your partner so that they have access to the Google Doc and they can make suggestions on it. Okay, guys, here is the link to the form. You'll just need to make a copy of that for yourself. All right, and this is a weird thing, but there's going to be people watching this that are not in class, that aren't here today. So let me just say, if you are watching this but you're not in the Zoom class, I'm going to have to pair you up with somebody to do a peer review with that also isn't here. So you'll just have to hang tight until a couple hours from now, where I can give you that pair and you'll peer review their work. All right, so you are the reviewer. Put your name under reviewer. The name of the writer you put under writer. So whoever's essay you are grading here, you put their name under writer. All right, now what you're going to do first is you are going to read through the paper carefully. You're not even going to pay attention to this form for a minute. You can just flip it over. You're not even tempted to look at it. There we go. And I just want you to read through their paper. And if there are any grammar errors you notice that are really significant, like they haven't capitalized I, or they are using the wrong it's, something that you notice. We haven't gotten into grammar yet in this class, but something that you notice that you need to point out, you can fix that for them. You can also make little comments to the side of their paper to help them fix some maybe sentences that are weird or ideas that are weird. So this is our time right now for reading through the paper and grading it kind of the way that I do as a teacher, where I give you suggestions to the sides using the comment function of Google. So again, don't worry about the peer review form for now. I'm going to give you 10 minutes right now to just read through their paper and get a sense of it and start making some comments on it. In fact, I'm going to give you 15 minutes for this. Okay, and again, if you don't have someone's to review because your partner did not do their paper, then you're just going to be commenting on your own. You're kind of doing this like self-reflection about your own paper, where to the side you're making comments about your own work. Okay. If anyone has questions at this point, raise your hand. Yes. Yep. So we were suggesting this is helping her know how to expand on this idea. So you could write a lot about like, what was the idea? Here's some examples you could use for this idea. That work? Yeah, so you're gonna have much less triggers. This one, this might not get.
I'm gonna add up things.
My Chromebook's not working, like I can't find the cursor.
Here, let me get you.
Yeah, let me show a better one.
Restart.
Thank you. So you guys at home know what you're doing, right? You're reading each other's papers and commenting on it?
Yep.
Hey. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, that's you. Sounds like we're in a Peanuts cartoon, right?
Oh my gosh, this was close. I'm gonna wait till you're done reading this first, this draft, and I'm gonna tell you who it is. Suspense.
Okay, I think we're gonna pause for a minute. You can get back to this, and if you're not done reading the whole thing, that is fine. I just want to talk for a second about the results of our debate and why maybe we got these results. So we've got Agamemnon with 2395. And we've got Patroclus with 2368. So Agamemnon, we have decided through debates that Agamemnon is the hero of the Iliad. No. So
Not cool, bro. Not cool.
here's what I love about those results is that probably when we started these debates, we would have thought Agamemnon would be the least likely to win in terms of like who is actually a true hero in the book, because he does seem petty. He seems prideful. In a lot of ways, he seems like insincere too. He seems a little bit lazy, like the stuff that Patroclus's group and the stuff that Achilles' group were talking about with in terms of Agamemnon really do make sense for character traits that he has that are negative, right? And yet this is the power of argumentation through the correct, or not correct, but like through like powerful rhetoric, these teams, this Agamemnon team has been able to prove that Agamemnon was actually the true hero here by being a leader, by apologizing first, even if that apology did not seem that good. He did apologize first, right? They also argued about the other team and how Patroclus couldn't possibly be the hero because he dies, which I thought was an interesting approach, but which a lot of people thought was quite a strong reason. I will say that it was not true for everyone that Agamemnon won that debate. Patroclus and Agamemnon, you can see by the points, it was really close. Lots of people had Patroclus winning that debate. So let's start with them first. What did Patroclus's team do really well that we gave them lots of points for? This was Bridger solely doing the debating, right? Yeah, they all helped plan now. Yeah.
Well, at the beginning, their debate was going really strong, and I liked their first rebuttal, and I liked their first opening statement. But then, in the second half, they didn't use up the whole time, and they kept it really short.
Okay.
So it seemed like they had this kind of.
Okay, good. I agree that Patroclus started off stronger. There was a little bit of strangeness with the structure in Agamemnon's side in the beginning part. You guys started in a place that I was like, I'm not sure that's the best place to start to prove that he's a hero. Whereas Patroclus's started out, here's our main point. Here is the way that we are going to proceed with our points. So that little intro that they gave us right at the very beginning, I thought was a really strong idea. But when it came to their rebuttals, they did start to repeat themselves a bit, and they didn't offer new rebuttals. They kind of stuck. There were a couple, but they kind of stuck with the rebuttals that they had in the first back and forth, that first minute. Whereas Agamemnon's team, they repeated quite a lot, but they did seem to add a couple at the end that were quite convincing. So I think that might have flipped it. I actually had it scored the same way, where Patroclus, I had them scored higher in the first two, but then Agamemnon overcame them in the second two. Okay, what else did Patroclus's team do really well? Yeah.
I feel like they spoke really constructively, and they had a lot of good evidence rather than like just speaking out of emotion and stuff.
Yes, I agree. Their logos was pretty strong, right? They had a couple points, and I'm not going to be able to remember which, where I was like, I'm not sure they're totally reading that instance right, or they're using that instance to make a point that I'm not totally convinced by. But they always pointed to stuff that happened in the text, especially in your opening statement. You pointed to details from the text that backed you up. So I thought your examples were really good. Okay, how about Agamemnon's team though? They ultimately win the debate. So what did Agamemnon's team do really well? Yeah.
They had a lot of emotion, and it was really like convincing. So.
I loved the presentation style. I gave them almost full points for every presentation style. Ultimately, that was Zach and Peyton, right? I think Peyton added in the jokes where they worked. I think Zach, though, was like the punchiest speaker, right? Like short sentences, like he'd have the long sentences, but then always ended with a kind of punch mic drop thing, right? So he'd be like, who do you think is, what was your last line? Do you remember?
It was mostly ad-lib, so I don't.
Okay, yeah, but it was like, who do you think is more a hero? The guy who dies, or the guy who leads the army? You know, it was like something like he gave this kind of false dichotomy, we call that at the end. Those aren't our only two choices. It's called logical fallacy. It's not good logic, but it is good pathos, right? And he builds up that emotion so that we feel like, hey, yeah, that is the only choice. Haley and then Bridger.
I think he said something like, who do you think is more worthy of being called a hero? Someone who fights for justice or someone who fights just because they're strong?
Yes, that was it. What a great line that was, right? It was like, who's the greater hero? So it wasn't a false dichotomy. He was saying between these two, who's the greater hero? And the way that he simplified it to say that Patroclus, the only reason he's going out to fight is because he's what Peyton said, he's a simp for Achilles. The only reason he goes out to fight is for his friend. That makes him seem so petty. And even though, as we read the book, we didn't feel like Patroclus was petty in that moment, did we? I don't think so. I didn't. I felt like he was very heroic. Even though we felt that way of wording it was rhetorically effective. It was just a really persuasive way of wording it. Bridger, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I feel like their presentation, like evidence, and there's just their choice of going second, because we'd say something,
Yes.
and then it was like a sledgehammer just slamming to that argument.
I
And
know.
we're over here like, shoot, what are we gonna say now? Because our argument would get ripped to shreds.
Right. So it felt like their counter argument was well placed then as
Yeah.
a kind of
And
luck.
We started to run out of stuff to say, and that's our argument started to get shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Their counter arguments were so powerful
Yeah.
that we didn't want to repeat ourselves. We started running out of munitions.
Right. So where they had to anticipate, you guys were reacting, and that gave you guys a bit of an edge there, definitely. Probably to do this more fair, I should have flipped it so that the closing statement you guys got to go last, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Kale.
I think Agamemnon's team needs full force of emotion. I noticed they did repeat a lot of stuff, and maybe that's where they won, because in your mind you're constantly getting the arguments right back. You're not forgetting them right away.
Mm-hmm. So it was actually the repetition and the force of the repetition that they had, the way that they divided it through these punchy kind of lines that made you remember what their argument was, and that was helpful in winning the battle then. Okay, I want you guys to apply these lessons that we've just learned from the debate to the arguments that you're writing. We learned that you need to have an intro that is clear, that sets up your goals for the paper, right? We learned that you need to employ some kind of emotion to get the attention of your audience. You can do that through word choice, you can do that through your examples, but some way of building up the pathos. But we also learned that use of detail can be very persuasive too, right? We learned that these guys use detail as well, but I just really loved the way that Patroclus's team was pulling from the text. So when you use your examples, fully explain the examples. Use detail to not only tell a story that your audience will be interested in, but also to back up your arguments with those details. So they can't say, yeah, but did you think of it this way? You want to cut them off for that. The other thing we learned is about counter arguments, right? I loved what Bridger said, because this proves that where you place your counter argument in that essay is very important. If you put the counter argument right before the conclusion, then basically you're telling your audience, also there's other ways to think about this and I might be wrong. Goodbye, right? That's basically how you're setting up your essay. So you want it somewhere in the paper where it makes a whole lot of sense that your audience is going to feel like they're being heard, but ultimately feel like you are right. Kate, do you have any questions about that part of it, about writing the actual argument? I feel like you guys are off to a great start. I was looking through them. Oh, let me explain. I looked at the first drafts you turned in. I made comments on MLA format, and that's it. So I just. Oh, okay. So everyone got full credit for doing it, unless it was short on the page requirement. I took off a couple points for that. And then I just commented on all the MLA stuff that you would need to change for the final draft. So if you change those things, it'll be perfect MLA. The ones that you turned in today, you were getting feedback from each other. Over the weekend, I know you're not gonna like this, but I'm going to tell you. Over the weekend, you're writing another argument paper.
What?
So you have written this argument paper, right? This is argument 1. You're going to choose a second topic from the symposium, and you're going to write an argument 2. Same deal. There's going to be a first draft, and then you're going to choose which one you like better, argument 1 or argument 2, and that's the final argument you'll write for this class. That is the one, I keep lying to you, huh? It's on purpose. That is the one that I'm going to grade carefully, that you're going to get the 50 points on, etc. So if you did the second draft for today, and it is significantly different from your first draft, you're going to get full points for this assignment, 20 points again. And then you'll do a first draft of your second argument for Monday. Monday? Yes, Monday. Yeah, Mercedes.
I just have a suggestion for
Yep.
writing the essay because I know essays suck. Pick a topic, another topic that you're very passionate about. Write the essay from your heart.
Yeah.
Don't use your head.
Well, use your head. Come on.
Okay, well, mostly use your heart when you're writing it.
Yeah.
It'll make the essay 10 times better. And to write faster, I found the song, it's Experience by like Eddie Yusuf, like I can't remember it. Experience, and it's an instrumental and it's more graphic and it makes you think faster.
Oh, awesome. I gotta hear. Okay, after class, come show me that song, okay? Yeah, Bridget?
So, I read your comments, and when I saw that you didn't comment on anything, I just turned in the exact same essay again. So, can I like go in and fix it tonight?
Yes.
Literally word for word.
Yes, yes, okay. That I could see how that would be confusing. The instructions said like you're editing yourself, but if it was confusing because I was like, well, this is a perfect essay, full points, and then you're like, well, I don't need to revise this, right? So yes, you can use what you learn. Let's say you can use what you learned in the peer review today for the rest of class to go and revise that essay, make it better. Turn it in by tomorrow night at midnight. Because then by Friday, I want you working on that next one. Okay, so is everyone clear? You're writing a second argument, like a totally different topic. Mercedes is absolutely right. Find one that you can find some like passion about, you know, in any of those symposium topics, you got a lot of room for finding an argument there. Yeah, Ashton.
Okay, let's say if I have like an argument or topic that I am passionate about, but it's not in the list of things I can do, can I still write about it?
What is the topic?
It's about relativism and objectivism.
Absolutely. Yeah, go for it. All right, Peyton.
Is it only symposiums that I was like a part of, or can I just do whatever?
You can do, if you weren't here for one of the symposiums, but you kind of like got a sense of what it was about, you could do whatever. Yeah.
Are we writing both the first and second draft and turning in the second draft, or just turning in the first?
You wrote a first and second draft for this week of argument 1. You're writing a first draft now of argument 2.
And just then the first.
Yep. Does that make more sense now? Okay, cool. And there is a description of the assignment on Canvas, so if you have any kind of confusion there, it should make that clear. Okay, that's a lot of writing up here, like right here in the last, 2 weeks before Christmas break. I feel like as a teacher, the more you like repeat the skill, the better it gets. That's why I kind of make you do a few of these. And then that final argument, I'm hoping is just gonna be like spectacular because you practice it so much. Right? It's gonna be spectacular? I knew it. Okay. So you have now read through their essays. You can keep reading through that if you are not finished and you're still adding comments. But for everyone who is done reading through it, let me just tell you about this peer review form. We're going to go up until the end of class, which means you will not have time to finish this thing. But you're going to get through as much as you can. AP grade number is the way I grade you. Thanks, Keegan. The way I grade you is at a 0 through 6, and I give you half points, right? So it's like, you might get a 5, you might get a 5.5, etc. This is not their very, very final. So give them the score that you think is realistically the score I would give them. This is just based on your experience with me scoring your essays, which you honestly haven't had that many. So you just kind of have to decide, is this 4, 4.5, whatever. This has no bearing on their points, so you can be honest with it. Then you're just going to go through these questions and answer what you can based on what they have. And like I said, we will work on that until the end of class. Anyone have any questions about this? Okay, cool. Then you'll want to fill out at least a little bit of this. Like even if you're commenting on their paper, you'll want to fill out at least a little bit of this so that I know you actually did the peer review process. But if you want to put more comments on the paper and spend time doing that, that's okay. Okay, go for it then.
You guys at home, you doing okay with this peer review stuff?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
It's the words. I know, I had to like Google it also because I kept spelling it wrong. I was like, how do you spell
Violent, aggressive, dangerous, brutal. Brutal's a good one, yeah. Don't worry too much about repeating words like that, though. If your paper's about violence, then it makes sense that you'll say violent over and over again.
It's about what?
So it's okay.
So I just have a question.
Yeah.
So I turned SIG and I realized like it's not like all the way done. There's like
Yeah, there's some stuff here at the end.
for draft one.
Uh-huh.
But it's the 2 pages and there's no comments, but it's still 17 pages. So I was just
I
wondering.
think I put the comments, if you look at the, let me show you. So they show up on mine. I think you look in a different place, unless somehow I missed commenting on yours. So I just want to make sure. So on yours, it shows up here. So it shows up on the Canvas page. And it will say, if you like click on this part, here, go back to your Canvas where you submitted it. Can I borrow this for a second? I think it's right here. Submission details. And then you go to view feedback, and that's always where my comments will be. It's an annoying, I just wish Canvas didn't do it this way, but it does. So then it will be over here on the side, and I'll tell you how to fix the MLA. And then at the end, I pointed out, it doesn't quite meet the page requirements of 17 out of 20.